Yeah, there's only about 2 cards different between both decks. Like they're running almost identical cards.
Wow.
The giant bowler decks, Fettywap is running triple spells, and instead Marcel P is running Ice Golem in place of one of the spells. In the Golem decks, there is Baby Dragon swapped out for Graveyard and Lightning swapped out for Fireball.
Okay.
As a log zap trade-off.
Okay. Sorry, is Fireball taken out or put in instead of Lightning to make it just a little bit cheaper? Is that really important for what Fettywap's bringing?
Yeah, because if you think that Ice Golem, or I'm sorry, I'm just trying to look at it. Basically trying to cut down the cost there. I mean, if you're going to play Graveyard, a 5-cost card that doesn't always get its elixir value back, like there's a lot of times where you get a little damage in, but it gets countered by like a 3 or 4-cost card. You're going to want other cheap cards. I also think the Fireball is in there to support the Graveyard because they're going to counter with Archers. You can Fireball the Archers, whereas Lightning is more expensive and not really something you want to cast on just Archers.
Okay.
Sweet.
So,
Anything here? We got a Musketeer hanging out in the giant bowler deck too instead of Archers.
Okay, what's the difference gonna be there?
Well, we've seen actually Fireball's becoming back in popularity. We mentioned how that card wasn't very popular. Partially because Lightning was so good, but now people are playing Archers to get around Lightning, and thus people are switching to Fireball to kill the Archers, and now people are going back to Musketeer to get around it. The meta is a circle.
But now we are in our second semifinals match, Marcel P versus Fettywap. Can Marcel P finally do it? Can he make it to the finals and take it? Let us know what you think. And here he is leaking that elixir again.
Fettywap, well, hey, to be fair, it takes 2 to tango, so they're going to both do that. Fettywap, the same guild, Altar of Elites, as Ash, who has made it very far in this tournament, finished 9th at the King's Cup, so yet another probably underrated clan about how strong they are. I want to see one of these games where they just both leak elixir into double 2x elixir time. We've gotten very close. We had one that went, I think, until like 40 seconds left. And then they started playing cards. River Golem.
Fettywap decides to play the Golem first. We'll see how far this one goes. Maybe
the Archers are already played.
Already committed.
Oh, wow.
Oh, great Ice Golem commitment. That's going to absorb a lot of skeletons.
But the skeletons in the back. Look at the skeletons in the back. There's 2 of them. That one has actually had a field day with the tower. He lived a grand total of about 5 seconds.
There it is.
That's a lot of seconds.
Half health, just like that.
And you see now, to go back to a few coronations ago when I made fun of Marcel, he's like, just split the Archers behind your King Tower. That's why. River Golem plus Graveyard makes that play suddenly very bad, and that's why so many of these good players are willing to leak elixir early in the match. Making the wrong first move can really come back to bite you. He just took 1,300 damage. Yeah,
because he committed his Archers.
Right.
That's the big card that was. He had the Ice Golem, that's one part to the whole, but he did the Archers. Golem makes its way across the bridge, and Baby Dragon is going to try to push down as many skeletons as it can. River Golem is actually going to stop the Baby Dragon from keeping those skeletons. He's
got Archers in hand as well. He's ready for it.
And I think that Fettywap might not actually go for it.
I think he knows. It's one of the. They're in a standoff right here.
Oh, wow.
Archers are down. Baby Dragon's down.
Delayed.
Oh, and the Fireball was ready. He didn't want to cast it until he had the ready Fireball.
Oh, that makes sense.
So he could Fireball the Archers.
There's damage.
Wow.
400? Not 400.
Sneaky.
And he's ahead in Elixir after all that as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
You're
my God. That's crazy. I mean, if you think about, we talk about inevitability a lot in decks. Like, you know that you're going to win by, if you put your plan together, it's unanswerable. And in a lot of ways, this Golem Graveyard deck is a lot like that. You've got the Golem down, you've got the Graveyard to do a lot of damage in Swarm, you've got the Fireball to deal with any counters they play. He knows that he can inevitably do that damage, and that's why Marcel P is switching to the other side here.
You just got to go for it.
Got to go for it.
You have to be careful not to be 3-crown. I think that's about as much elixir as Marcel P can invest. He needs to turn around and defend.
Can't do it though. Mega Minion doesn't lock onto the tower in
And
game
time
1.
runs out. Fettywap taking the first victory here in the semifinals against Marcel P. One step closer to moving on to the finals. Marcel P, though, to his credit, last time did go down. Also a game, K-Mac winning 2-0.
Absolutely.
Seen it a lot, not impossible.
It's possible that Fettywap's Golem Graveyard deck is the best deck, but we've seen so many times in the double deck format, you have to win with both decks.
Yeah.
And we've seen so many times the second deck just can't close it out. That's got to be Marcel P's best hope at this point, is he's got to win with both of his decks against a pretty standard giant bowler lightning deck. I mean, it's got Musketeer, Mega Minion, pretty tough all around. Marcel P's Golem deck. I think if I'm Marcel P, I stick with the Golem deck because A, I think I can overwhelm the Giant Bowler, and B, I have Lightning. And with Musketeer, Mega Minion, Bowler.
3 great targets.
Lots of very delicious minor targets, or lightning targets.
Random question. It's not going to apply to our coronations at all until I think Rage comes back, which we haven't seen Rage at all
You're
yet.
betting on.
If you Rage a graveyard, do the skeletons pop out quicker?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
No. The skeletons will move and attack quicker once they're on the field.
They won't spawn
quicker.
Here's the reason why. I'll give you a quick rundown on why. Because Rage, any unit, building, or troop targeted gets its attack speed increased. Spawner buildings like Goblin Hut don't attack, but its attack speed is the spawn rate. So it's actually speeding up its attack speed, which is the speed that it makes the goblins, whereas Graveyard is a spell on the ground that has them pop up. It's not, it doesn't have an attack speed.
It's not a unit
Probably
itself.
not the ideal usage of.
I think it'd be so cool.
I think a deck with Rage is probably not the ideal deck.
I just took it out. All right, Fettywap 1 game up against Marcel P. If he can take this, he's moving on to the finals.
But Rage Giant Skeleton sounds like such a great idea.
That's when I ran all the way up to Frozen Peak.
So did the Giant Skeleton. Ran really fast.
You only needed level 7 Giant Skeleton to do it.
That's all you needed.
I got him.
Boom roast.
Interestingly enough, we have seen Giant Skeleton win a tournament. So
Here's the leaking again. I love it. Marcel P is
K102.
Oh, a super magical cup. Oh, yeah. Not in the Coronations Day. Giant Skeleton.
yet to be seen.
You think about this, though. How many people were doing hashtag make log great again and, love the log and all that stuff, and that got log buffed? We need to do that for Giant Skeleton. Now let's move on to the next thing.
Man,
It's
I
time.
feel like they just got up and are making a cup of coffee right now.
Well, while we're talking about this, going back to Giant Skeleton, since nothing's happening in this match, just today I was playing against a guy. He had a 21 elixir push. I put a Giant Skeleton down and blew up all of it. It was so good.
You were so happy.
Oh, I was so
Made
happy.
your day.
I shared it in my clan, and everyone said, "Wow,
He said, "You're the best, Christian."
you're the best."
I didn't even see it.
All right, now it's starting out.
You know what's interesting is I think almost every single time Marcel P has been able to outweather his opponent and play second.
He's done well.
He's been able to wait for long enough and get his opponent to play first.
Unfortunately for Fettywap, did not have a tombstone early in his hand, and so that golem just beeline towards the tower, and with the bowler turned around, the archers take it out.
Wow.
Oh, that baby dragon's got a lot of health to make it to the tower and help contribute.
Oh, man.
I think that's actually great for Marcel
Yeah.
P. He forced out a pretty, it's a lightning, and it killed, I guess you could call that 7 elixir worth of troops. So those archers were nearly dead. The baby dragon was already wounded. Fettywap pretty much lost his elixir advantage in order to do that, and that lets Marcel P. get another double golem push going.
What's great also about Marcel P waiting that entire time and Fettywap allowing him, it just lets Marcel P get closer to double elixir.
Right?
Yes.
And I don't know if he meant to
It's
put that
already
tombstone
double
in that
elixir.
direction.
Yeah.
Again, you'd rather see the skeletons build up on the giant, but instead they're just kind of walking aimlessly into the tower to get killed.
Now finally do the skeletons start building up on the golem for Marcel P. Log comes in, will take down all the skeletons, and there's a big lightning.
Wow.
2 archers actually make their way in, and another big lightning to answer, but now there's no elixir to
Oh, baby
really
dragon.
stop the golemites from doing damage, and this is already a push that Fettywap knows is going to pretty much gain its value.
Yeah, and that was one of the few times we've actually seen a lightning not earn its value. That was a 2 elixir ice golem and 3 cost archers, and both of those cards were already kind of damaged. So that was maybe killed 4 elixir worth of troops.
What a bowl there for the bowler, wiping out all those skeletons.
Playing the
tower's
Ice
left
Golem
on.
gives the main Golem the opportunity to get in front of the tower and tank up a lot of damage, and so it's going to be a question of aiming cards at the supporting line.
Right.
Giant finally does come down, and actually Fettywap has elixir enough to still defend against the Golem and put up maybe another supporting set of troops for that Giant, but
Those
gets
archers
chewed
just
up.
keep on rocking. Rocking in the free world. And actually, the tombstone's going to go down. I don't know if he's going to have tombstone back in cycle soon enough. So this golem might get a chance to beeline. And there's a really good lightning brewing for Marcel P here.
There it is. And Tombstone is going to be played very, very late, and I think Log is the ideal card to play here
Point.
for Marcel
timed really
P.
well.
Yep, timed really, really well. Giant is going to hold up the supporting troops, so there's no archers coming in from behind doing a lot of damage, but 2 Golemites and an Ice Golem is enough to really make short work of this
And
tower.
lightning, and baby dragon.
Yeah, Marcel P really took that game and ran away with it, and this is probably one of the best games to see exactly why Marcel P is so adamant about playing first. Very, very adamant. And I mean, I would love to go back and watch all the games where this has happened with Marcel P and just see, because I'm actually pretty confident that there was only one game where Marcel P played first. Other than that, he's always waited his opponents out.
Very reactionary.
You know what's weird is it seems like it only happens in Marcel P matches.
Oh
too.
yeah, that's it.
Like, I don't know if other people know that he's going to wait or something, and so they wait for him, like they've scouted him or something.
I know
He definitely
you're
makes a
watching
conscious
you.
decision to do it.
I think it's smart. I mean, I remember when I was first starting to play, Tom, our boss, who's in Legendary Arena, right? He's killing it. The way he climbed so fast, he was saying, I'm only going to play something when someone else plays. Like, I'm only going to play defensively, making sure I get positive elixir trades, and then continue on from there. Because a lot of players, they just don't have that general skill of like, oh yeah, how do I efficiently trade these things? So Marcel P is showing how it's done.
I played him yesterday.
Marcel P?
No.
Tom.
Oh. I was like,
And
whoa.
it was in the Legendary Arena, and I was like, oh, this is what it looks like.
Oh, this is what
I heard her say,
one day.
I don't have any elixir. How do you still cast things? So, learning
hard.
firsthand, yeah.
It was hard. It was really hard.
All right, so how are these two final decks going to match up against each other? Who has the advantage?
It is Giant Bowler Mirror, although there are some interesting differences between them. Fettywap this time has the Lightning. No Lightning for Marcel P. He's got Fireball, and there's not a ton of good Fireball targets. 3 spells for Fettywap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both of them have Tombstones. Marcel P has the Ice Golem, though, which will give him a little bit of trickery and holding up those back lines, although not a lot of skeletons to use on. I think they're really similar decks, but there are some key differences, and whoever plays them better is going to pull this one out.
Well, let's see if Marcel P can take 2 wins in a row going to the finals, or will it be Fettywap? Let's find out. Okay, who's going to play first?
Probably not Marcel P.
Let's while we have some time here,
I'd like to recite the Gettysburg Address while we wait for this game to start.
Let's go ahead and pull up Abraham Lincoln, get on in here. So, Roman, we always, kind of going through the decks, you list out how many spells each player is bringing. What is that? Oh, there it is. Fettywap playing first and Marcel going to play after. What is the quote-unquote good amount of spells to bring to a deck? Is there should you always bring a spell? Should you bring no less than, 2? It should be no more than 6?
Playing with his boulder.
In the when the game first started off, I think it was pretty common to only see 1 spell. Oh, that's actually a great combination there. Real quick, Fireball does not kill a Musketeer. It almost kills a Musketeer, but not quite. So by hitting 1 boulder roll and then dropping the Fireball on, he was able to kill it and actually hold off that push really well. His tower is pristine after his opponent started off with that bowler attack.
Mega Minion will get taken down by the Crown Tower on Marcel P's side, but no damage done for either player.
To answer your question about the spells, this current meta that we see with 3 spells in some decks is unprecedented in Clash Royale history. I can't ever remember a time when people were willing to play 3 spells. Now, part of that is that there used to not be that many spells, and then over time, a lot of the weaker spells like Log and Lightning have been improved so much that now it's like, all these cards are all good cards, and now I might reasonably want to actually play 2 to 3 in a deck. For a long time, though, it was just 1, and then it was really like Zap Poison for a real long time.
Yeah.
Again, using Fireball to remove the Musketeer, unfortunately not able to hit the tower because he wants to hit the bowler as well. And that signals defensive play. He wants to make sure that he's removing troops from the board as quickly as he can.
Great job using that Ice Golem to buy a little bit of time and let the bowler roll away on the other bowler. Marcel P really has got his micro on point in this game. Ooh. The question is, though, can he actually translate the damage on the tower? Right now, both of them are playing exceptional defense.
I think if one archer goes down, the other one lives, it should get enraged.
Ooh,
Oh, I think he knocked it out of the range.
On.
Oh, no, it was turned around. The bowler didn't lock on.
The bowler was aimed at the giant. Big Zap will remove the skeletons, but dropping the Mega Minion makes sure that he will be able to take down the giant. Ice Golem Explosion actually does take down the Musketeer finally, but another one gets added on the board with the bowler tanking for it.
Here.
And it all came down to not being able to kill that Musketeer. The Musketeer is actually the key card in this matchup. It doesn't get Fireball the way that Archers did. The reason why he plays Fireball in that deck is to deal with Archers. And when the Archers have been upgraded to Musketeer, it's a great metagame call by Fettywap. There's really no way to take that thing down unless you have a Lightning. And Marcel P opted to not have Lightning in his deck. He duplicated 4 different cards instead.
Removing the Musketeer is going to be really important for Marcel P. So far, he's been playing into the same line of play, but now he's played his bowler much earlier than he did previously, and we'll see how much that changes this push. Is able to put a second giant in front of the bowler to kind of extend its lifeline. How do you remove that Musketeer, however? He actually shoves it forward, but does not quite get the Mega Minion to tag on.
and that Musketeer will actually get taken down by the Ice Golem.
Wow, very nice. Yeah, there's so many ways to do incidental damage in the deck that it's all about getting any damage on the Musketeer. I mean, literally any damage on the Musketeer, and the Fireball will kill it. So he just needs, an Ice Golem explosion, a Skeleton swing, a Mega Minion swing, an Archer arrow. But it's really hard to do that because of the Musketeer's long range and the propensity to play it far behind the Giant and against the wall where it's really hard to get to it.
We've just hit a very key moment in the game. The line of play is vastly different than what it was before. Removes the Musketeer with Fireball, Zap, really wants to make sure that that isn't a factor in the push. Lightning actually does not tag onto the tower, and a second Giant will be played. This could be Marcel P's run for the tower, and I think that the line of play is organized neatly enough that he might be able to do it, but Fettywap makes it to his next Giant, so the first Giant that Marcel P played, or rather the second one that he played, will actually perish across the river.
The River Giants are just blocking like the last little bit of damage on all these things. Right as it looks like one player or the other is about to take over. Oh no, he missed. He says oops because he wanted to knock the Musketeer forward into the Archers, not away from the Archers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because if you knock them forward while they're stunned from the knockback, they can take the shot, and the Musketeer doesn't shoot back. Musketeer got one shot in, which, this game is so close that every little bit matters.
It might actually go to a draw. I mean, I think there's a world where Fettywap can lightning cycle Marcel P, but I don't know if that situation is going to come to fruition. Spends a Fireball, and he knows that the Archers will remove the Musketeers, so that was not a mistake. Marcel P is being very calculated about how he's fighting troop for troop.
Yeah. And it's funny, you're right, they might actually go to a draw partially because they spent the first minute of the game not playing anything.
Just hanging out. I actually really think that Marcel P is playing out the situation very expertly. I think he knew that from the start of the match, he got off on the wrong foot.
Sure.
And to be able to concentrate on playing defense this long is actually quite astounding.
Oh, and the Musketeer goes down. They took one Archer shot.
The Bowler actually clears the Skeletons, and this is one big opening for Marcel P. Finally gets a Giant to get one swing on the tower, and look how hard he worked for that.
Only 20 seconds to go. The question is, can we stop it here? These River Giants are doing such a good job at stopping the pushes that it's really hard for anyone to really get ahead.
All right, 10 seconds left. It does look like this is going to be going into a draw here in our second semifinals match. Against Marcel P and Fettywap, they give the good game. The match is over. So, per our rules, we are now going to be we're having a rematch here of this draw. They have to bring the same deck. So what's going to happen is if it goes into a draw again, it's going to be whoever has the lowest HP on their tower. Not combined, just the lowest single tower.
So for example,
HP.
in that last matchup, Marcel P would have lost because his left tower had lower health than Fettywap's left tower. So they're going to replay the draw. Game 2, they both know the other decks. They both know not just the decks, but the lines of play. I mean, they have worked out every which way of how to play Archer's Bowler, Tombstone, and all the different spots. Now they're going into the final game, the sudden death game, basically. And I don't know. It seemed like Marcel P was starting to get the better of it by the end, but Fettywap also did more damage past those initial successful pushes. Like, he was getting it down there. This could even come down to opening hands.
Oh, the coin flip. The 50-50. What's interesting is I actually think the opening hand in that last game was not favorable to Marcel P, and he purposefully played it into a draw because he knew that it would be tough. He would have to take some risks that I think Marcel P was not willing to take. If you ever watch Marcel P on stream, he's very calculated about the decisions he makes. And he's one of those players who identifies risks and avoids them and tries to figure out a methodical way to play past them, which is why he does things like not play at the start. And so I think that was actually a very conscious decision by Marcel P to not do that. There it is. Marcel P actually starting off kind of against his personality here in our sudden death final matchup here in the semifinals between Marcel P and Fettywap.
Well, I think we saw that going heads up maybe wasn't going to work out, so maybe going for something along the lines of a split push might be slightly more effective. I'm not really sure.
I think he's aiming to have that boulder hit the Musketeer, and I believe he will try to fireball it.
Nice
he's going to
zap.
Two boulders and a zap. There you go. Traded some tower health.
He's got a log now. He could probably log that tower to redirect. He doesn't have the elixir for it right now. Maybe next time.
He already spent the zap, so he couldn't zap away the skeletons.
Oh, you're right. He doesn't have log in this deck. You're right.
Interesting, Marcel P reached into the bank that is his tower health and gained no benefit from it, so he's going to be down 600 to start out this game.
He has a little more elixir here, though. Now he has a little bit of elixir advantage and got some damage on there. Yeah, so one elixir advantage, down by about 300. Slightly favors Fettywap, but this is anyone's game. Well, you're right. Actually, in this game more than any other game,
Tower health is
every
huge.
point matters. You're
Now
right.
it's not. Now it's actually not the last hit point. It is just every single point of HP on a tower.
Whew. I think he's doing a really good job adapting to the Musk. I mean, that's really the key card. If Fettywap can defend those... Oh, no!
Oh, that was so
It
close.
was a little delayed, and now the bowler's not reaching it. Oh, no.
The Musketeer is going to be able to reach the bowler out of harm's way because it's so far before the bridge.
He's got to recover pretty quickly here. Now, nicely, he's not going to take anything from the Mega Minion or that. Let's see if an Ice Golem at the river pops up to save the day. Actually, no, that thing's just going to die to the tower.
Is it?
It's going to get one shot.
Ooh, okay.
Oh. And again, this being the final one with the lowest HP tower taking it, or again, if they just win fair and square, every single point counts.
12 spectators in the game. We got a lot of people tuning in to see how this goes. Everyone in the clan's got their eyes on
No
this.
one has cheered yet?
Oh, there's been some cheers.
Okay. I was like, I don't see any confetti.
You're just so locked in on the action, I can tell.
That's right. Oh, there it is. Okay.
The big card that is a saving grace for Fettywap, I think, in this series is the Musketeer by far.
Oh,
a card that has just been so much less popular than it was in the days of Giant Poison. Man, that's tough. 957 while you only have done 500 to your opponent's tower. I think it's going to be tough to come back from this. But still, remember that the game is actually playing out as normal. If Marcel P actually takes a tower down, he will still be the winner.
Right.
Nobody knows if it's actually going to be a draw. The bowler does big damage, and the fireball, and the zap.
Oh, the bowler's locked on.
2.
It's time for him to catch up.
Wow.
Okay.
And he's got to use a zap to buy a little bit of time, but that tower's taking a lot of damage. It's got lead health, and now it's under lead health.
Ooh.
It's under 1-3-3-7.
Uh-oh.
But how do you stop this River Giant with the Musketeer tagged on? He's going to use the Ice Golem to stop the Mega Minion, and I think this might have been a big play. One more swing, no, the Mega Minion loses.
And it's not going to make it.
Oh.
Wow, he basically got away with it.
He got away with it. How do you keep the pressure
And
up?
the tombstone's too far. Oh, no, it's not too
The
far. It's gonna
tombstone
pull it.
will drag,
Okay.
but the fact that the bowler is behind, this Musketeer will be removed automatically by the bowler.
there it
Fireball hits the tower.
He's taking
Oh
it
my
down.
gosh.
Zap again.
Marcel P slowly but surely crawling his way back in. Now remember that there is still lightning in the deck.
Oh, you're right. You're right. There could be a lightning cycle here late.
Lightning, he could lightning that tombstone away, and that would be big.
But he can't ever spend too much elixir. If he spends 6 elixir and, say, doesn't kill a tower, leaving himself wide open to a counter.
this might be it.
There it is.
Oh, wow.
I mean, 6-11 is
Oh,
actually
wow.
not really enough to justify the lightning at that time.
And it can get fireballed. Oh, it actually walked the other way. You might just ignore it all. No, he can fireball the tombstone and the
Oh, the bowler gets placed. The skeletons get removed. The giant is running away.
going.
Musketeer
Go,
bends
go,
his
go.
duty.
Whoa.
He's
The
gonna
Musketeer's
burn
going there. The Musketeer's gonna get a few shots. The Ice Golem blocks it. One punch.
Marcel P coming back
He
from
did
behind. What in the world? So close. For most of the game, he was getting punished and punished and punished. He decides to turn it on. That's the second victory for him. He's moving on to the finals for the third time.
In all my time
Whoa.
casting Clash Royale, there has only been one moment that I've considered to be really, really intriguing in terms of me for expert competitive play. That moment for me was watching Adam, a player on the top of the leaderboards, play Trifecta, play Hog
Right.
Rider. This moment for me is the second time where I actually feel like I'm watching some of the most elite of elite games.
It's crazy.
People say, like, oh, you can see it sometimes. You'll see complaints like, oh, it's just another giant bowler. This is boring.
Yeah.
There is no way you could call that match
was
boring.
not boring.
Every single point of damage mattered. Every single placement was important. And really, we were saying like how unfortunate it was that the Musketeer couldn't be killed by Fireball was a big problem. But the Ice Golem actually saved the day for Marcel P so many times, allowing him to dictate the pace of combat, stopping the backlines from catching up, just killing the defenseless giant, and then holding off the other stuff. There were so many situations where just a little bit of damage made all the difference, a little bit of placement made the difference, and Marcel P's going on. He's got to play in the finals, but that felt like a finals match.
Yeah.
Look at
Absolutely
this.
incredible. Absolutely incredible. Marcel P makes it happen. And Ice Golem, really, I mean, the featured card there on the replay is the Golem itself, but really it's the Ice Golem, I think. The way that he utilized that 2 elixir card really split the tiniest difference between him and Fettywap. What an amazing match. My mind is blown. That was an excellent match.
Absolutely. So here, this was one of the key ones. The fire, he could have fireballed there, opted not to. Instead, drops Bowler. Bowler runs all the skeletons out, and the Musketeer walks away down the other lane.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing: the Musketeer would have killed that tower very quickly, but the Ice Golem blocks and buys just a little bit of time for the Golem, the Giant, to finish the job.
You said now again, just a reminder: when a unit gets moved, it also gets reset with the targeting.
Yes,
correct?
but it was not hit by the Bowler. The Bowler rock missed the Musketeer. It was simply the skeletons getting killed, and the Giant turned around. The Musketeer just went, oh, lost sight.
Never mind. I'm moving on. All right, let's go ahead and pull up the bracket now as we have our 2 finalists. And like you said, Raheem, that felt like a finals match. Marcel P's got to do it again, though, against EPRU if he wants to claim that title. And EPRU is ready to play 2-0ing every single opponent to this point.
Rainey is really excited because these are the 2 that he picked.
What I'm thinking about right now is just in terms of mental fatigue.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Marcel P has to step up again.
He has to step up, and EPRU, meanwhile, 2-0, has had a moment of time to sit back, relax, watch Marcel P struggle.
Yeah, that's so true.
And then Marcel P has had to play a grueling 3-game series and now has to play a best of 5. That's one of the things about a player like Marcel P who considers all outcomes or attempts to and is always trying to play the mathematically right decision, willing to take the least risks possible.
Taxing on the brain.
That is very taxing, and to be able to need to do that now for a best of 5,
it's going to be tough.
Absolutely.
Stamina.
So we're buying some time by talking and looking at the decks, but also